Hello everyone, I'm Joseph Giunta, the music director and conductor of the Des Moines Symphony, welcoming you to the DMSO listening room. Our much anticipated final series of concerts is almost here, and I'm very excited to speak to you today about what we have in store for you. It's a program that I know you'll not want to miss. We begin with living British composer Anna Klein's This Midnight Hour. Anna is one of the most in-demand composers today. She was named the 8th most performed contemporary composer in the world and the most performed living female British composer in 2022 as well. Her works have been played by orchestras all over the world, including the New York Philharmonic, the Chicago Symphony, the Royal Concertgebouw Orchestra, and the Philharmonie de Paris. The opening of This Midnight Hour is inspired by the energetic and character of the lower strings of the National Orchestra of France. It's very powerful writing, and it sets up the tone of the work straight away. There are these outbursts of energy, with even subgroups of string players playing these cascading figures that produce almost stereo effects for the listener. A very melancholy section appears in the middle of the piece that emulates an accordion or even a bandoneon playing a beautiful little Parisian-like waltz in a club. The piece is full of beautiful orchestra colors reminiscent of the French impressionistic painters of the early 20th century. It's a piece that I believe engages listeners from beginning to end, that allows our imaginations to take us on an unexpected journey. Now, the remainder of the program celebrates the 150th anniversary of the birth of Sergei Rachmaninoff, with performances of two of his most famous works, the Second Piano Concerto and the Second Symphony. And the Piano Concerto will be performed by visiting artist Gabriela Martinez. Now, Gabriela has performed with over 100 orchestras, including the San Francisco Symphony, the Chicago Symphony, the New Jersey Symphony, the Houston Symphony, and the Buffalo Symphony. She started studying the piano when she was only 6 years old and was the first prize winner of the Anton Rubinstein International Piano Competition in Dresden after her studies at the Juilliard School. Now, the Second Piano Concerto was completed in only 10 months, and the complete work was debuted in November of 1901 with Rachmaninoff as a soloist. It was an immediate hit with the audience and went on to establish Rachmaninoff's fame as a composer as well as a pianist and a conductor. It's one of the most recognizable pieces of classical music in the entire repertoire. It is in the standard 3 movements and contains beautiful melodies, rich and warm orchestration, and an overall musical concept that is both engaging and purposeful. It takes a virtuoso pianist to perform this demanding work, and Gabriela Martinez will bring it alive in a way that will be etched in your memory for years to come. His Second Symphony, also a very famous and familiar work, will continue the program. The work was written 5 years after his Second Piano Concerto and debuted in St. Petersburg in 1908, conducted by the composer. The entire work is approximately 60 minutes, and although today's performances seem to play every note, earlier performances of the piece were often cut down to 45 minutes, which is the version you will hear with the Des Moines Symphony. After 2 very successful seasons as conductor at the Imperial Opera at the Bolshoi Theater in Moscow, Rachmaninoff considered himself a composer first and moved his infant daughter and wife to Dresden to get away from the political distractions of Russia. This time was very peaceful for him, and it inspired the Second Symphony. He conducted the premiere in 1908, and it was greeted with great appreciation and success. Now, the piece is scored for a large orchestra following the romantic orchestration of years past. The first movement opens with a dark and brooding mood in the lower strings. The lush string writing becomes apparent quickly and is used throughout the work. The second movement is fast, like a scherzo, with several contrasting sections, including a beautiful theme in C major. There's a vibrant and tumultuous fugue in the middle, possibly reminiscent of his studies with Taneyev, who the piece is dedicated to. The third movement begins with one of the most famous clarinet solos in the entire repertoire. It'll be played by our wonderful principal clarinetist Greg Oakes, and it's followed by some of the most lush and beautiful string writing you'll ever hear. There are several climaxes, with the most intense one in C major happening after a lengthy series of chromatic sequences. It dies away after leaving this listener in a reflective mood. The finale is fast and furious with march-like tendencies and virtuoso writing. The piece whirls and spins, and the listener sort of goes into a frenzy, and it finally ends in a glorious and emphatic way. I had the great privilege of hearing this piece by Rachmaninoff's favorite orchestra and conductor, Eugene Ormandy and the Philadelphia Orchestra, in the early 1960s, shortly after they recorded one of the finest performances to this day. This made a huge impression on me and continues to give me great joy after decades of studying and performing this piece many times. I hope you'll enjoy our season finale, and we all look forward to seeing you at the concerts on May 13th at 7:30 and May 14th at 2:30 in the Civic Center of Greater Des Moines.